Well, welcome back to the Road to Roswell. Today we're taking you behind the scenes to look at one of the most important parts of preparing for air racing, getting the aircraft ready. Now, while the race itself only lasts for a few minutes, the preparation begins months before we even arrive in Roswell. So today, let's catch up with Charlie and talk about what it really takes to prepare an aircraft for one of the most demanding competitions in the world.
All right, hi everybody, Tammy, Charlie here. So I wanted to introduce you guys to Charlie. So Charlie's the heart and soul of the operation. He's been a jet racer for many years, started first race in 2012, I think, wasn't it, back then? And he's our chief engineer here and also chief pilot, so lots of experience. Charlie's responsible for getting the aircraft all serviced and maintained ready to race. And been pretty busy the last couple of months. You were saying in the last 2 months, how many L29s had you been working on?
I've worked on 4.
4 of them.
Yeah.
And how many of those were in Australia?
1.
So we have Tango November Whiskey, which is the only L29 actually flying in Australia. But we also have the other L29s over in the States, 2 of them. One of them is Australian registered, which is Miss Independence, and the other one, Race 19, is FAA registered. We also have a friend who has an L29 in our hangar over there, who also had some work done while boys were over there last month. So lots of servicing's happening.
Air racing's a team sport. While the pilot might be the one in the cockpit, there's an enormous amount of work happening behind the scenes.
So just to give everybody a bit of an understanding in as far as the maintenance goes, how long does it take you to do an annual inspection generally?
Well, it depends. Obviously, if everything is okay and we just do the inspection, probably takes us like a week or so. Normally I'll have someone else there with me, like George, give me a hand. Obviously, if there's things that are wrong, then it might take us a little bit longer, especially if we're going to procure some parts or
things like that.
Yeah.
And with the maintenance of these aircraft, I mean, they are older aircraft, but obviously, you know, the race jet, it only flies comes out for racing, so it doesn't do a lot of flying throughout the year. What sort of maintenance, are there any particular items that, you know, you find problems with the aircraft, or anything that's a real standout with the aircraft?
Yeah, not really. They're fairly robust, and they were built initially to be serviced by tractor mechanics, in Soviet, and then they just don't seem to break down a lot. The system that they have is an air system, which is probably what gives us the most trouble, I guess.
Yeah, with leaks and things like
Leaks,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
And it's a bit hard to find out where the leak is if it's just there.
Yeah.
And here we are, photographic evidence, chasing air leaks in the US, chasing air leaks in Australia. People often ask what it takes to race a jet. The answer isn't just flying, it's hours spent in the hangar checking systems and solving problems and making sure that the aircraft is 100% ready to perform safely and reliably.
And in as far as like getting the jets ready to race, I mean, I know you prefer to do a lot of the maintenance yourself because you're very particular about how it's done. I mean, we are racing these machines at full throttle, basically 50 feet off the ground. So, you know, it's nice comforting to know we've got an aeroplane that's really well maintained. But in as far as the maintenance of that, is there anything like you take particular care with for racing specifically?
Not really specifically, but we just check that all the systems are working as they should be. Obviously, we don't want to, it's already a dangerous sport, so we don't want to throw anything else in there. So we want to make sure that it's reliable and safe to operate.
Yeah, yep.
Especially when I'm putting you in the seat.
It's easy to underestimate just how much work goes into preparing a race aircraft. Every inspection, every maintenance task and every test flight's about reducing uncertainty before race week. The goal isn't to make the aircraft fast, it's to make it reliable and safe.
So when we get it ready for racing too, like we've obviously got to get all the maintenance done. We do the maintenance here on the jet here so we can keep current, and then we do the maintenance on the aircraft in the US. But then once that's all done, we've then got to get it to the races. So what's involved with that in as far as getting it through the maintenance inspections and things?
So as we've said, we do the periodic inspection on like the annual inspection on it, and we have to do that prior to applying to the FAA to be able to fly it in America. So once that's done, I send in the paperwork, and we'll get approval to fly it for a certain period, which is normally, well, this year it's for all of September.
Mm-hmm. And just to clarify, that's just for the Australian registered L29, the N registered one, we don't need to go get those approvals.
No, that's right, it's just for the Australian registered aircraft. The other one, obviously some of the reasons we're going to keep it, hopefully N registered, is that we can then fly that aircraft anytime once we get checked out, because the air's different up there.
So here we are when I completed my training in 2022. And this is Miss Independence racing last year at Roswell for the inaugural air race.
And then what other processes? So once you've got the FAA paperwork squared away, we can ferry the aircraft to Roswell prior to the air racing?
Right, so we've got the paperwork done now, so the next step is for us, when I go over there a bit earlier, ferry the aircraft over to Roswell from Rio Doce, and then it's going to be inspected. There'll be FAA inspectors there, so they'll probably have a cursory look over it. I don't think they'll go too deep into it, but then we have the jet class representative who's the tech inspector for the aircraft for the racing, and he'll go through it and check everything. Yeah.
So last year, our team made a big investment in New Mexico, and we purchased a hangar in the beautiful Sierra Blanca Airport, not far from Roswell, in Rio Doce, New Mexico. It won't take us long to ferry the aircraft to Roswell. It's a short 20-minute flight for us. That's a little quicker than the 32 hours it takes us to get from Australia to New Mexico.
And then, that's the aircraft there. She's then ready to race. And then prior to racing this year, we're going to have some training. We've got the new MAC course as well, which we're all going to get a chance to go around, which would be great.
Roswell isn't just another destination for us. It's where months of work and preparation will all be put to the test.
But also, with the aircraft, in as far as like fuel usage and things like that, we're doing 6 laps and at full power. Is there anything that, in as far as racing at Roswell compared to where we used to race, that you really noticed with the maintenance or fuel burn or anything?
The maintenance is still the same, because you're still doing 1 takeoff, 1 landing. It's a little bit longer. The track's a little bit longer. And because of the also change in elevation from 5,000 to 3,500 feet, I think it is now at Roswell. We're using a bit more fuel, so that was one thing that I was a little bit surprised about, but we just have to put more fuel in so that you have sufficient, especially if something goes wrong with, there's a delay in the starting, or there's an aircraft coming in that needs to land, that you have that reserve there to utilise.
Yeah.
One thing we've learned over the years is that success on race day doesn't happen by chance. It's built through a lot of preparation, and the more that we do now, the fewer surprises we'll have when we're standing on the start line in Roswell. There's always another job to do, whether it's maintenance, planning or organising logistics, And preparing for an international air race is a huge undertaking, and every detail matters.
And then I guess, for us too, like once the racing is finished, is there anything maintenance-wise that when we put the aircraft back in the hangar and store it up for another sort of, well, I guess it's 9 months till the servicing after the air racing, isn't it? Because you normally do the servicings in June, July. So, is there anything that you do specifically to store the aircraft when it's not being used, or are they pretty good in as far as...
They're pretty good. We just keep an eye on the tyres. Probably take a bit of the load off the wheels if we could, and also make sure that the nitrogen is probably charged up, or that we've got all of the moisture out of that system.
This aircraft is simply incredible to fly, and there's nothing quite like racing a jet at over 400 miles an hour, just 50 feet above the desert floor. But with that privilege comes an enormous responsibility. We trust this aircraft with our lives, and that trust is built through meticulous maintenance. We don't accept good enough. Every detail matters, because at these speeds, reliability isn't just about performance. It's about coming home to our families safely.
Well, we're looking forward to getting out on the track and racing this year, and it'll be a bigger and better year this year, and more classes attending, and we'll get to see a lot more of the September family, which will be great, and we can't wait to get there next month. Can't come quick enough for me to get out of the Australian winter, because at the moment it's pretty cold. I'm looking forward to being in the warmth of Roswell, New Mexico. We'll see you next time.
As we count down to Roswell, we'll continue to share every step of our journey. I'm Tammy Camilleri. Thanks so much for joining us on the road to Roswell. If you've enjoyed coming behind the scenes with the team, why not subscribe and follow the journey as we prepare to race in the fastest motorsport on Earth in Roswell, New Mexico.